Hello again, everybody. Welcome back.
Hey, look at the beautiful view we have up here. Look at that.
Yes, it's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're kind of makeshift here. It's almost like we're it's a hostage sort of thing. I'll hold it up a little higher. So So there you go. And I hope you enjoyed the we mentioned it's birthday season.
Yes, birthday
season. Oh, this
season.
is the second half of the Mary Elizabeth Variety Hour. And what's my name?
Kaye Lazar.
And you're
Mary Elizabeth.
Mary Elizabeth. All right. There we go. Yeah. So and we're talking about the holiday, and we're talking about our own private holidays, which are birthdays.
Yes.
Now, tell me about birthday parties you've had in the day.
I had this one birthday party.
Yeah. Where
I heard some kind of it wasn't actually a rumor, but it was about the neighbor that I used to have.
Oh, yeah, tell us.
He was really fat, you know. I'm sorry, I don't mean to say that, but you know.
Well, was he thin?
He was fat, yes. But
big boned.
Yeah, one of my other friends who came to my birthday party, was telling my dad and his ex-girlfriend at the time, saying that that fat guy that was just here, he was crumbling his hamburgers in his hand.
What was he doing?
The way he was crumbling the hamburgers, he was trying to help with the grill.
Was it a raw hamburger?
Yeah, it was raw.
Oh yeah.
He was just, I didn't hear about it, but from what she told my dad.
No, he's crumbling them in his hands.
Yes.
And they were falling on the ground or something?
I think so. I guess the way he was doing it or something.
Oh, man.
But it was pretty funny, though.
Yeah.
I didn't mean that. It wasn't really funny to him, probably.
I'm sure if he's as fat as he said he was, he didn't waste too many hamburgers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me tell you, I found out, I like hot dogs and hamburgers at barbecues, but let me tell you something. Hamburgers are better. They're better for you.
Yeah.
And I've noticed something about barbecues. Never go to a barbecue on time unless you're throwing the barbecue yourself.
Yeah.
Because it takes longer to cook the hamburgers than it takes to cook the hot dogs. Hot dogs doesn't take long at all. So usually when you go there, you have to eat about 10 hot dogs before the first hamburger is ready.
Yeah.
So get there late when the hamburgers are already under finished.
Yeah.
Oh, good, I'm here.
Yeah.
There was a time, though. I'm not kidding you. It didn't even matter to me eating. I was more into drinking.
Yeah.
Beer and.
Yeah.
And now, I don't drink anymore. But now I've given up something else. I've given up sodas.
Oh.
I mean, not given up sodas
completely.
It's not completely. Maybe. But I was drinking one a day, which is, how much sugar is in a can of soda? It's 11 teaspoons at least.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you could not take 11 teaspoons of sugar in your mouth, but you'll happily drink it in a soda.
Yeah.
We're just talking Coca-Cola, Yoo-hoo, any of those things.
Wow, yeah.
So my doctor told me that's the I said, what is the worst thing you could what's the worst thing you could consume? And he said, soda.
Yeah.
The way Americans drink soda, that's the problem we have right now. So I'm trying to, so I've only kind of started. It's only been a week. But nothing has really changed.
Yeah.
Except that I want a soda so bad.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, so I'm drinking coffee all the time. And when I drink coffee, I drink it black.
Yeah.
I don't put any sugar or what do you put in your coffee?
I put cream and sugar.
Cream and sugar, yeah.
Because I like cream in it. I like the international creamers.
Yeah.
Yeah, from International Delight. You get Irish cream, French vanilla, hazelnut, French vanilla. Yeah. All that.
When I'm in this is what happened to me. Mm-hmm. I found out that I used to, when I started drinking coffee, and we're talking when I was probably in college.
Yeah.
When I started drinking coffee, I never drank coffee before on a regular basis. So I started to drink coffee all the time, and what I would do was hey everybody, and yeah, got the fan club going by.
Yeah.
There's the Easter parade. Yeah. Anyway. With your Easter bonnets.
With anyway. All the thrills upon it.
You'll be the grandest lady in the Easter parade. And if we sing anymore, we're going to have to pay the state of Irving, Berlin money. And Judy Garland and Fred Astaire. Yeah. Anyway, what was I say? So anyway, what happened was I would put like pretty much a half a bowl of sugar in it because it was so bitter.
Yeah.
I used to put milk in it too, but now I don't put milk in it. I don't really like milk anymore. I don't like the moo juice. So now I put then I started just putting the sugar in it. And you want to know something? Even if you put a lot of sugar in coffee, it's still not as much as a soda would. But it's still, and then. But the funniest thing I realized, the more sugar I put in coffee, it didn't get that much sweeter. Right. My body didn't care whether I tasted it or not. So I said, well, gosh, if it's still going to be bitter, as coffee can be, then might as well not put any sugar at all. Learn to like it. If you drink it really fast, coffee, it tastes like water. So.
Yeah.
You don't really taste how bitter it is.
Right.
When I was a kid, I couldn't understand why people would drink coffee. I don't know why people would drink wine or beer, because it tasted so bad when you were a kid. It's just this awful flavor. And then you grow up and you can't understand why people love this stuff so much. Then you realize, they don't even care how it tastes.
Right. Yeah.
And, okay, so birthdays. Now, what were your birthday parties like?
My birthday
Did you get
parties,
nice cakes and?
Oh yeah, we got nice cakes. Yeah. Yes, my dad used to have his made from a friend of ours.
Yeah,
and she made the best cakes ever.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. What were they? Were they white cake or sheet cake or what?
Yeah, they were. I think chocolate.
Chocolate.
And some vanilla or some sort. I forgot what they were. It was been so long ago, so.
I always liked, what cake do you like now?
I like chocolate and I like,
Angel food?
No, it's kind of boring. But yeah. I mean, it's good, but it's kind of, I'd rather have something more delightful. I find chocolate, German chocolate. I love German chocolate.
I find cake, I can't eat more than one piece, and I only eat birthday cake as I only eat birthday cake as in tribute to the person that's being honored for.
Yeah.
But I don't eat a lot. I rarely get a second piece.
Yeah.
And homemade cake is good, but the stuff you buy at the store where they just put your name on it and stuff, this usually doesn't taste very good.
Yeah.
And then what happened was,
I like homemade cakes better.
Yeah,
homemade cakes are the ball, man.
Yeah, I like German chocolate cake.
Oh, I love German chocolate too.
Yeah. Well, German chocolate cake to me has the nuts and the coconut and the chocolate, so it's almost like a candy bar at that point.
And guess what? I love red velvet cake.
Red velvet cake.
Around Christmas time.
With the white icing.
Around Christmas time, there was it was it was a relative of ours.
Yeah.
And she would make it every year.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good.
There you go.
Yeah.
And do you like carrot cake?
I do, yes.
Carrot cake, they don't usually use as a birthday cake. Yeah, it's a great birthday cake.
Yeah.
Put candles on it.
I think I do hear that they do use carrot cake sometimes.
Well, you could use any. But one comedian I heard on a show was saying, why do we have a birthday cake? We should have a birthday pie. More people like pie than cake.
Right.
But I guess you could give more people a piece of cake than a piece of pie. Yeah. Also about pie, about cake is I have a niece and she loves. When she was little, Ellen, she used to love the birthday song. That was her favorite song, "Happy Birthday," And what she liked about it was, we couldn't understand why she liked it so much. That was her favorite song. She would glow when that song would be sung. So, and then we realized, that's I tell you what's great about that song. There is something great about the happy birthday song. At the end of that song, you get to eat cake and you get to blow out candles.
Yeah.
I mean, what other song has a finale like that?
Right. And there's another upbeat happy birthday song when they clap their hands at a restaurant. Yeah. Happy birthday. Well, whatever it is, I forgot what it actually went. But
well, a lot of for the longest time, the happy birthday song by Mildred and Patty Hill was copyrighted, and you couldn't even use it in a movie without paying.
Wow.
It was written like 150 years ago, and they up until maybe 10 years ago. I mean, I think what happened was it was so long ago that movies and TV shows would have that in there, and then they would see. Let's see if Mildred and Patty Hill's great grandchildren are going to ask for money.
Yeah.
If not, we'll tell them to get lost,
Yeah.
And I think it is in the public domain. But if you ever see certain movies that were made probably in the turn of the 21st century, they would sing "For He's a Jolly Good Fellow," because that was you could always sing. That was always in the public domain. That's it doesn't even have to be about birthdays.
Yeah.
And then there's I actually loved going to birthday parties, and I love having birthday parties. One birthday party I remember in particular was I invited all these kids, all these boys, and they all came, and all came to my house, and we had a great time with ice cream and cake and games. It was almost like a modern birthday party. No adults, or very few adults. Usually the kids were dropped off, and then but I tried to make it kind of fun for the kids, and we'd have the cake, and we'd have and then they'd open the presents, typical thing. But right. I was 10 years old, and at this point I was kind of losing my fondness to birthday parties, and I'll tell you why. This one kid, I went to his birthday party, and all I saw was greed.
Oh, wow.
He was just being nasty to everybody, just opening presents and where's my next present? Wow. That type of thing. And I realized at that point how, that it could bring out the worst in kids.
Yeah.
I remember one kid would have a birthday party, get all these presents, and all the other kids. If you came late to this party, you'd see all the kids crying.
Right.
All the brothers and sisters, all the friends, and the one kid just happy with the toys because all the other kids were jealous that the kid was getting all these toys and they were getting nothing.
I remember one of my cousins years ago when he was little, he used to have his birthday parties at McDonald's. Yeah. And I used to have so much fun having a birthday party at McDonald's.
Yes.
I used
that playpen and everything.
Yeah, I begged my mom, asking, can we have a birthday party at McDonald's?
I'm only like 5'4".
Yeah. And
I'm still at the size that if I go to a McDonald's and there's the playground and the kids are in the balls, the colored ball pit and stuff, I can still go in there and the people who work there don't say, "Hey, you're too old to be in there." No, they'll think, at least from the behind, they think I'm one of the kids. I
used to like the older playground better, where they didn't have the balls and all that back then. Yeah. So all
those. You ever the ball pit at the playground? They someone told me they wash those balls every day.
Oh, they do? I would not believe that. I would not have believed that.
They don't.
I wouldn't have believed that.
That is a lifetime of runny noses.
I know.
And diarrhea. And dirty diapers in that ball pit.
I worked with little kids years ago, and I had 2 godsons.
And drooling. Yeah. And every bodily fluid that comes from an 8-year-old or younger is in that ball pit.
So,
in fact, if you want to make your kid like immune to diseases, there's so many antibodies in that ball pit.
Yes.
It is so funny, that ball pit. You know, actually, the ball pit wasn't that big a deal when I was a kid. I'm kind of glad it wasn't. I can see the appeal if I were around today.
Right.
I mean, if I were a kid today and see, oh, the ball pit, oh, right. That's exciting. Right. I like the bouncy house. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
I used to like, they had like these little French fry guys. You could like sit and like bounce on them or whatever.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. They had those back in my day when I was a kid.
Yes.
They don't have those now anymore.
Yeah.
Because they took them all down and built those ball things.
They had we're in a playground right now.
Yeah.
And I but they have I see a sliding board and rocks to climb on, but that's about it. I mean, when I was a kid, they had like monkey bars.
Yeah.
they had sandboxes.
Yeah.
But if you went to a kid's house that had a sandbox and they also had a cat, don't go in the sandbox. It's like a minefield in there.
Yeah, right.
You'd be safer in quicksand on a deserted island.
Yeah, yeah.
What was I going to tell you about playgrounds? There was this one thing you never see anymore. It's that merry-go-round where you're running and then you go on it and it goes around in a circle. God, it was the most sickening thing.
Oh, wow.
When you're a kid, you can handle it, but now I can just imagine just twirling around in a circle. My sister, one of
Oh,
my many family members, lost her tooth on it because she fell and just fell right out against the metal. Those were very dangerous, those things. My sister was like a mad woman.
Wow.
She was like the queen. She was the wicked witch of the merry-go-round.
Wow. Yeah.
But I remember. This is what I didn't like about about my own birthday parties. Was I invited my mom would say, well, keep the guest list low.
Oh, yeah.
Keep the guest list low. You know, you don't have to invite 30 or 40 kids. Invite like 5 of your best friends. I said, okay, I'll invite 5 of my best friends. And but my sisters would go around the neighborhood and invite all the other kids in the neighborhood. Kids I couldn't bloody well stand.
Yeah.
And they'd show up with their hands in their pockets. I said, where's your gift? Where's your toy?
Wow.
And then, they got free ice cream and cake and soda. About the only time I ever drank soda as a kid. Keeping it from you. Luckily, I never got a taste for it as a kid. I had a taste for it, but it was kept away from me. But the only time you had soda was on birthday parties. Luckily, if you had a lot of friends or even a lot of people in your family, that's when you got to drink soda.
Right.
It's not like today where kids just drink a big gulp for breakfast.
Right.
So anyway, so I think I've told this story a million times. Was one kid I invited? I could invite like 5 or 6 kids. One kid, the kid came back. My mother was very nice planning this birthday party for me. It must have been like 7, I think, or 7 or 8. And I'll remember it in a moment. And what happened was she, the one kid said, I can't come to your party. He said this at school. I said, why not? Why not? It's going to be the event of the season. It's going to be like the Beaux-Arts ball. It's going to be like a prom. If 7-year-olds could go to a prom with no girls there, all stag. Stag party. That was the earliest stag parties. Yeah. We had a cake, but no girl jumping out of it. We didn't care.
Yeah.
We'd prefer to have Batman or Superman jump out of it.
Yeah.
Maybe Wonder Woman if you want a girl.
Yeah.
So anyway, what happened was, so this kid said, my mother said that you can't give a verbal invite. You have to give an invite on a card, or an invite, a written invite that what day it is, what the times are, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Come to the party. So I said, so my mom was so nice, planning this party.
Yeah.
That so I didn't tell anybody this. So I got like 2 pieces of typing paper. I guess I needed 7 or 8 cards. and I tore them. Not even a scissors. I just like tore them in 4 pieces each one. So I had 4 scraps of paper, and I wrote down, which is very hard as a kid when you're 7 years old. Having to print everything out, and then have to print it again and print it again. And then I just handed them out the next day at school.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that kid's mother called my mother and says, "Is this your idea of a joke? Are you mocking me?" And my mom didn't know what she was talking about. "What do you mean mocking you?" Because it says, "I asked for a card, and you get this chicken scratch, scribble scrabble on it." As if a 7-year-old did it, and told him to come to my son to come to your son's party. And of course, my mom said, "Did you do this?"
Yeah.
I said, "Mom, you were so great in planning this thing with the cake and then everything, and I thought I would take responsibility and do this if that was the case." She was the only woman who actually did complain. I think the other kids just looked at it and laughed at it. Yeah, of course I'll be there. Found out some things about parties if you're a grown-up. I have a whole system about parties. You always want as many men and women together. You don't want too many women. I mean, more women than men. You don't want too many. You certainly don't want more men than women. But if you have, if you're a man, you can't just be the only guy there and have like 20 women show up.
Yeah.
Because wait, what are you running here? Yeah. So this is how you invite people to a party. You invite. How did I do it? It was okay. First rule: no matter who you invite, no matter what number of people you invite, 40% of the people are going to show up. Only 40%. The other 60%, are looking. If I feel like it, I'll come to your party.
Yeah.
If you get, I asked a guy who was throwing a party once, "How many people do you think are coming to your party?" He goes, "I expect 100%. I said, 100% ain't coming, and I was right. So this is what you do. And then, of course, you want men and women. Now, if you know more men than women, or if you know more women than men, that you have to take that in consideration. So you invite. How does it work? You invite 3 times as many women as men, because the people that don't show up are usually the women.
Yeah.
You want 100%. Pretty much 100% of all the men will show up.
Right.
And also, you don't want too many people to know about your party if it's for everybody, because once word gets out, then all the men are going to come with their tongues wagging. Where's your beer? Where's your women? Where's your food? And the women, and that's why the women don't want to come. Because there's too many bounders and horn dogs there.
Yeah.
So, okay, and then I had another point I want to make. And then, and the women you invite a week ahead of time, because they're not going to tell their friends so much. And the men you tell the day before the party. Because even you invite them the day before the party, the men will clear their schedule, if they have a schedule at all, to come to your party, while the women are going to hem and haw and go, "I don't know if you want to." Also, if you want certain people at your party, give them a ride to your party. That's why people pick up. That's why big stars are picked up at the airport, like Elton John or Elvis or Frank Sinatra, because they're not sure if they're stuck at trying to find their own way to the performance there. Yeah. So you pick them up and make sure they get there, and that's what you do. You pick up your most important people, if it's a big star or if it's a pretty woman or anything, and the men will find their own way. So I had this, and then actually, believe it or not, that strategy worked out quite well for me when I used to throw parties all the time.
Yeah.
These weren't birthday parties; these were just parties of debauchery and drinking, and gluttony.
Yeah.
There was, a friend of mine said when you have a party, we were talking about coffee earlier.
Yeah.
Said that. Coffee, says, instead of having a party where everyone drinks beer, you should have a party where everyone drinks coffee.
Yeah, that's more better.
But there is a problem with that, because what'll happen is if everyone's drinking coffee and drinking cup after cup after cup, instead of the party kind of winding down, it goes up and up and up.
Yeah.
To the point where people are actually like throwing people against the wall. The last party I threw was good while ago. And when some guy came, I found out I didn't really know this guy. He was married, and he came alone looking for girlfriends. I mean, looking for women to be his girlfriend. He got so drunk that he just barfed right on my floor. And at that point, when you're cleaning up a stranger's barf from your living room for a party, you say, maybe I should rethink having parties. Because when you have a party, you're basically a janitor in your own home.
Yeah.
Or worse, you're a butler or maid in your own home.
Yeah.
Well, that reminds me. I invited my sister and her husband once to one of my parties. Yeah. He goes, well, that's nice that you invite me. He goes, oh, no. I want you and your husband to wear a butler and maid costume so everyone thinks that I have servants here. A one-room apartment. Having to share a bathroom down the hall. Yeah, and you have a butler and maid. That makes sense. Yeah. So, happy birthday. We'll talk about your birthday as it gets closer.
Yes.
Yeah, what was the best present you ever got?
My best present.
A couple of your favorite presents.
I got so many. Probably Barbie dolls.
Barbie dolls.
Yes.
I got anything sports related. I like baseball gloves, hockey sticks, baseball bats.
Yeah.
I love all that stuff. Football, Wilson football was a big deal. Spalding football, Spalding baseball. All these. Yeah. It didn't even matter. I was just so happy to play. I still buy sporting goods and keep them in my trunk of my car, thinking that if anyone wants golf or tennis or play or softball, I'm all set.
Yeah.
Nothing's worse than not being prepared for a sporting event.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And also we have some music. We always talk about show business. What do you want to talk about? Which of these two?
Let's
do you want
talk
to
about
which one? This one or that one?
Let's talk about Joe Jackson.
Hold it up.
This is Joe Jackson. If y'all haven't heard of Joe Jackson, he's really good. He did a hit called "Stepping Out,"
which is on that album.
Yeah, it's on this album. It's a really great album. And you might have heard of Joe Jackson as Michael Jackson's father, but
different guy.
It's a different guy.
English performer.
He's a totally different guy. So
okay.
And when I first heard about Joe Jackson, he did a song called "Stepping Out," which is in this album. Mm-hmm. So
he still cranks out stuff.
Yeah, he does. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me tell you about Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson was very important when I was in college. Joe Jackson performed when I was in college at UVA, and I'll tell you about Joe Jackson. We really wanted to see Joe Jackson the worst way, and in those days there was so many like pop singers and pop that it was very hard. We wanted to get like sophisticated people to come to our college, and he came. He was in Richmond like the night before, so we scheduled something in Charlottesville that night. And he was going to be playing in the basketball arena, which he did play. And he was a stickler. He's kind of a grumpy guy, Joe Jackson. And they actually rented a system for $2,000 to make this sound better. So because he asked for it, and then when he found out they paid $2,000 for the rent the system that wasn't already there, he goes, "Skip the system. I'll just use your own speakers and add the $2,000 to my bill." Which is so maybe he knew what he was doing. And of course, once he performed, after I think the second or third song, he was so upset that it sounded so bad in a basketball arena that he almost walked off. And I think he walked off for a couple of minutes and walked back on and finished the show. But he was mad the whole show. And so in those days, I used to go backstage to see to meet the acts.
Yes.
And so I went backstage and I said, Joe Jackson around? They said, "Oh, he'll be out soon. Say hello to him." I said, "Okay." Yeah. So he finally walked out, and I didn't realize how big he is. He's like 6'4" or something. He's a very tall guy.
Yeah.
And I turned to him and I said, "Mr. Jackson, you did a great show tonight." And he just stared at me and just walked away.
Yeah.
And somebody said that he's been that way all day.
Yeah.
In fact, you were lucky you even got a stare from him.
Yeah. Well, at least you got that.
As Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson is sort of a weird guy. He after he did the Stepping Out video, he did another video. Is she really going out with him? Or what's the other song on there? That's
Is she going out with him?
Is she really going out? It's on this album.
There's Another World. Wait. Chinatown.
It's called Breaking Us in Two. That's the name of the song.
Okay.
This is actually probably his best album.
Yeah.
And it's called Breaking Us in Two. And I think,
yeah.
Whatever it was, I think it is. And he was so upset with that video that he said he was never going to do another video again. He did the music for a movie that was hardly released, called Mike's Murder.
Yeah.
And it was actually a very good score. Then he did scores for a few movies, like Tucker with Jeff Bridges. And then he also did the score for the TV show Private Eye.
Oh, yeah.
In the 90s or something.
I think I've seen him in some, like, he was advertising movies or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's kind of, you don't really, every once in a while it comes on an album and it's always good.
Yeah.
He's a very talented guy.
Yeah.
But they said he's one of the guys that his own kind of attitude and demeanor kind of did him in.
Yeah.
I mean, when he's not friendly to me, yeah. Mr. Charisma.
Yeah.
He was like the what do you say? He was the equal time to Dale Carnegie.
Yeah.
So Joe Jackson, I always try to talk about these guys if I've met them or something, and that's the closest I really got to meeting Joe Jackson.
Yeah.
But Joe Jackson did do a good show. I thought the show was fine, even though the speakers weren't that great. But I mean, every time you see a show in a the bigger the place, usually the worse it sounds.
Yeah.
And if it's done for sporting events,
yeah.
if there's also basketball or football played in the same venue you see the show, chances are it's not going to be all that great.
Yeah.
Unless they really work hard at it. I think it's better than it used to be.
Yeah.
It used to be when we went to shows in the 1980s or earlier, if they were done in a basketball high school auditorium, it didn't sound very good.
Right.
But if they did it in the theater where they would do maybe the high school musicals, it sounded better.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that was so Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson is something.
Yes.
And and I would suggest, like you said, anything with Joe Jackson, go get it. Yeah.
Go get it. It's really good.
Yeah.
So.
Another guy that's good.
Another guy. If some of y'all already know, this is Van Morrison. This is a really good.
I don't know how to see it. We're doing we're not doing a projector this time. We're doing we're not doing it. We're doing it actually, but it looks great on this phone. I'm kind of holding it up the whole time. It's almost like, speaking of Titanic, it's almost like being on a boat doing the show with the water and everything.
The battery's dying pretty soon.
Oh, really? Well, let's say a few words about Van Morrison.
This is Van Morrison, and this is a really good album too. He did a hit called Moon Dance back in 1970, and the whole album's really good. Yes. So, Moon Dance is like a jazzy kind of sound to it. It
was. I'll tell you about the song Moon Dance. It was written. He actually wrote it hoping that someone like Frank Sinatra or someone would record it.
Yeah.
And I think Michael Feinstein has recorded it.
Yeah.
And but it's a good song. And in fact, everything by Van is good. Van is like one of the best singers around. I've never seen Van. Van's one of the last people I haven't seen. And if he ever comes at an affordable price to town, I'll go see him. He's wonderful, Van the Man.
Yeah.
He's from Northern Ireland, and he's still performing.
He's from Ireland. Yes.
Yeah.
At first, I didn't know he was from Ireland, but when I looked at some information about him, he's like, it's from Ireland. So.
Well, he came to Ireland when I was in Ireland, and I should have seen him then. But I had so many people to see in Ireland.
Yeah,
like you two and everything that I should have. I missed my chance. Yeah, that's what he looks like. Yeah. Yeah, Van is great.
He is. I like him.
The albums he did with the Chieftains and with other people. So, anyway, thanks for showing us your record collection.
No problem.
Yeah. And if you have anything to say about Van Morrison, tell us next time.
Yes, and thank you all for tuning in.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, no problem. Anytime, dear.
Yeah.
God bless you all. May God bless everyone. Take care. Bye.
All right.
Bye.